Welcome into Hand Raised, guys, presented by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. I'm Neal McCready. That is Chase Parham. It's 5:30 something on this Thursday night as we wrap up. Pretty busy day of programming at MPW Digital. Hope you've enjoyed it. A lot of people have been in the stream. Had a big crowd for McCready and Siskey earlier today. That kind of kicked things off. We had a podcast earlier today, in case you missed it, with Jeffrey Wright. That's up in audio form wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple, whatever the case may be. We're brought to you by our friends at Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, please call the people at Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in South Haven, Memphis, Hernando, those areas, call Southern, 662-429-4429. We are both in the Clark Ford Studios. Earlier today, it was just me. We're in the Clark Ford Studios. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He will send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that is hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900. Guests, including you guys, can call in on the Campbell Clinic Hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit CampbellClinicOxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111. This will be one of our Friday Blue Sky Live offerings. Chase, what's going on at Blue Sky?
Yeah, you got to come in town. You're going to probably pass it, so stop on in. You maybe get a lunch special. Those are $5.69, a couple sides of bread, any size fountain drink. You've got tons of pulled pork, ribs, side item options. Maybe your tailgate needs a little more. Maybe you got that charcuterie tray from Johnson Hill Creamery, but you know what? Just need to add to it a little bit. Blue Sky and Oxford can help you out in a lot of different ways, including just calling ahead, telling them what you need. They'll have it all packed up, wrapped up, ready to go for you. They're with Blue Sky here in Oxford or any Sweet Daddy's at Blue Sky location throughout Mississippi. There's one nearby no matter where you are. The Mountain West has got all 7 of its teams signed for next season. Well, good to know. I was really worried about that today, so I'm glad they got it hooked up.
Apparently, as people began to dig into the analytics of the Pac-12, they did not like what they found.
At all. We talked about it earlier in the week about how the consultant had said that Utah State and those people did not leverage any better than Oregon State, and then they didn't leverage any better than Memphis, and then it was a bit of a crap show. Memphis came out today saying the Pac-12's deal for them was really bad. Ed Scott, the AD there at Memphis, trying to calm down fans because it was an interesting thing. You could go off money or you could go off competition levels in a present snapshot. And that dictated whatever you thought about that deal, because I actually turned it on because I was curious what he would say. Gary Parrish spent 25 minutes probably earlier in the week on his radio show hammering the University of Memphis for not taking the Pac-12 deal based off the number of teams in the proposed Pac-12 in the top 60 in the football rankings and the top 80 of the basketball rankings versus the current American. However, exit fees were crazy. The amount of money was far from guaranteed and not very high at all. I mean, from an economic sense, at a place like Memphis, it doesn't have coffers that are just overflowing in cash. It looks like it made no sense whatsoever, despite what the competition could potentially have been in a different Pac-12.
Yeah, I think Gary was hung up on the reputation of Pac-12.
Well, he was hung up on the fact that he had to use Massey index rankings and some other basketball thing, but he was basing it off of today. Memphis was the only team in the American in the top 60 of the Massey football rankings. And in the basketball rankings for the preseason top 80, Memphis was the only team in the top 80 in the American, whereas in the proposed Pac-12, there were 5 or 6 football and 5 or 6 basketball in those metrics. He was frustrated with people who we're hung up on the Pac-12 is not going to be a power conference, so why would we do it? And he was saying, well, that's not really the point. Why don't you just try to be the best of the others? Because you're not going to be in a power conference either way. It's not going to matter. So avoid that. But he was also completely disregarding the money involved, which was nowhere near what the first blushes were that the Pac-12 was at least publicly offering, it looks like.
Hey, caller, who's this?
Hey, you got Paul.
Hey, Paul, what's up?
Hey, we're just wondering, we're on our way to Mississippi right now. We're wondering, you think Kiffin's been saving Ulysses for SEC play, or do you think he's really the third backfill?
I mean, that's not his nature to play games like that.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not. I mean, it's possible, but that's not really. That would be really out of character for him.
So I think he's message sending a little bit to get his tail together, get his act together. That's what it feels like.
I mean, maybe he just doesn't trust him in pass pro.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, Quinshon was a pretty good pass protection guy. Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
And Parrish is good in pass pro, which is why he plays.
Yeah, that's why he plays. And look, Kentucky's going to try to get after Jackson Dart. That's their path. I mean,
they have one lane.
Yeah, and they're going to run down that lane until it doesn't work anymore. They're not going to.
And they're going to have a hard time protecting their guy. Did you see what the Mountain West is doing as far as future distributions? See this?
No.
For future money, Air Force and UNLV is going to get 24.5%. Nevada, New Mexico, San Jose, Wyoming are going to get 15.8%, and Hawaii is going to get 5%. So they're having a tiered system based off what they believe is being brought into the league.
And those schools like that, they have no choice.
Yeah, where are you going below the Mountain West?
I mean, that's the guy that's asking you to the prom.
And I think Hawaii's so low because the conference subsidizes a lot of the travel to help them try to get teams into the island.
Yeah.
So that's why that's sitting where it is right now. I think that's true.
It says, why is Margaritaville building a resort in Newport, Kentucky?
Are they?
That's what Ron says.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, not on the water, so.
Which platform should we use, Skype or the other one?
It's up to you. What do you think's going to work? You got one you trust more than the other?
I mean, I trust the Skype. It's just so freaking loud.
Oh, the dinging?
Yeah. It says we're connected. I don't even remember the number.
Yeah, Margaritaville Hotel, Newport, Kentucky.
How about that?
Hey, I'm telling you, for cost effectiveness and what all's involved, the Margaritaville on the coast is really good for kids. It's fantastic. Done it 2 years in a row. It's great. If you can get past the corniness of being in a Margaritaville, you're golden. You got the little outdoor carnival thing. Got the water park little area. It's good.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, I'm calling. My name is Hannah. I'm calling. My boyfriend was the one who gave off the tip about Clint Trickett on the message boards about 6 years ago. Do y'all remember that?
Refresh our memory a little bit.
Help me
6
just a
years
little
ago
bit
was a
more.
little tough for us right now, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, when there was news that Lane was going to be coming to Oxford, no one knew for sure. And my boyfriend posted on the forum that he had a tip-off from Clint Trickett, some random assistant. And he tried to post a screenshot, and he could not post it for the life of him. Like, could not for the life of him. And he was getting his ass chewed out by everybody on y'all's message board. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do seem to recall this now that you're saying it a little bit. I have not thought about Clint Trickett in a long time, but I do think that's probably the last time I thought about him.
6
Hey,
years?
you should have thought about him last weekend, brother. He was here with Georgia Southern.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, yeah in general.
Well, he pulled that up and showed it to me for the first time last week. And I just have to say thank you to everyone on that message board, because any time that we get in an argument or anything, I'm just going to remember the way that message board just lit his ass up and just truly humbled him. I loved it. It was so wonderful. Thank y'all so much.
Hey, we're glad to help.
And-
That's what we do, you know.
Hey, anytime he pisses me off, I'm just going to send him to the message board. And also, I also just had a question for y'all. Like, is Bo Wallace, like, is he good? Like, we watched him last week with y'all. I loved it. He should come on every week. But, like, is he good?
You mean like is he in
okay?
a good place? Yeah, he's in a really good place right now.
I feel like he needs to go to therapy after what Hugh Freeze put him through.
I think he got, and I don't mean it in the political sense, like he got triggered a little bit by Freeze's actions because it felt similar to what he had dealt with, and that he had been keeping, I mean, it's Bo on Twitter, so he's not completely silent, but had not completely laid it out there. And
hey,
but I had heard a lot of that before. I knew those feelings existed. He had never expressed them, but not. I mean, he had never expressed them publicly, but I was aware of them because I've had conversations with him in the past.
Hey, in our house, Bo Wallace is a Heisman winner. He's our favorite Ole Miss QB of all time. And Hugh Freeze should go touch grass. Like, when do you think is the last time that Hugh Freeze touched grass? Like, all this time following and following. Maybe if he spent more time, like, you know, becoming a better coach instead of on Twitter.
Hannah. Oh, Hannah, it's 5:44 on Thursday evening. How long you got? I mean, because this is
all the time in the world. We can talk about anything, and I love the yap. I'm a born yapper.
Let me just tell you, the whole follow thing is that's
a move. He likes that move.
That's
I did like that when I was 12, Neal. Not when I was the head coach at Auburn.
Well, let me put it this way. You know, like there's certain basketball players that you know that in a moment of crisis, they're gonna dribble left, go right. You know, that's a scouting report. Okay, well, Hugh Freeze in a moment of crisis is going to unfollow on Twitter as a weapon. I mean, that's just...
Hannah, he plays Oklahoma in a game he desperately needs to be competitive in, and he spent considerable time this week worried about a former quarterback and a podcast that covers Ole Miss.
And you know what? He's probably going to tell you, God told me I should unfollow Bo Wallace. That's what he'll do. That's what he'll say. He'll say it was a divine message from above telling him to hit unfollow.
Well, I have been the subject of the unfollow attack before. It didn't really work because when he followed me back, when I didn't refollow him within an hour, he unfollowed me again.
What a loser! What a loser!
It's just par for the course. I'm interested. I won't be watching until probably halftime or later of the Auburn-Oklahoma game.
Yeah.
But I will be interested to see that score when I get back from the press box from the post game with Kentucky Ole Miss. And I will be fascinated to see that score.
Hey, I'm praying on his downfall, brother. You know, but I'm going to go there with my parents. I just want to call and say thanks for that. I enjoyed it.
Well, thank you, Hannah. We appreciate it.
And I got a little joke for you, Neal, before I hang up.
Okay.
Is fall your favorite time of year? Because you're a pumpkin head. Da-dun-dun.
Thank you, Hannah. That's very good.
Hey,
right,
Hannah, hold on. This is mean simply for informational purposes. The board is just asking a question. You referred as boyfriend. Is that 6 years ongoing? Is there engagement? Where are we kind of standing with the relationship at this point?
No, we've been together for about 8-9 months.
Together as in married?
No, we're not married. No, I'm 27.
Oh, you weren't with them 6 years ago when this happened. Sorry, I was confused.
I was confused too.
I'm 27. I'm not 40. I'm not married yet.
We thought you were saying this
you were saying
boyfriend.
it was the present boyfriend when the clit tricket thing happened.
No,
I apologize.
Oh, no, you guys, this was like a sit down conversation of like, I have to show you something serious, and he pulled up the message board, and it was a big moment in our relationship a week or two ago.
Oh.
Well, that was pretty heavy of him to go, hey, I'm gonna bring this. Yeah, I get it. You got plenty of ammunition now. You're ready to go. You can pull out those threads, use them as direct quotes.
I know. I tried to find the screenshot. I tried to find it, and I never saw it. So who knows? But I will defend him. He had it.
I get it. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go dinner with my family. I'll see y'all later.
He's not with you right now. Does he know you're making this call?
He knows. I think he's at the gym right now, probably laughing to himself because he didn't think I'd really call.
Okay, well, call back. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Bye, Hannah.
I'll call anytime there's gossip. Bye, y'all.
All right, bye.
Tupelo Red with the snark. I get it. It's funny. I laughed.
It was good.
It was good.
Fine.
I found it amusing.
I mean, there's dumber ideas. It may or may not have crossed my mind once she knew Clint Trickett and had a second joke and went,
yeah,
you can work with that.
The Hannah Show. I'll just simply say my instincts are being proven correct over the last 24 hours, though.
Giants Cowboys tonight. First touchdown scorer odds, CD Lamb plus 475. I'll hate a little Malik Neighbors action for plus 800. Catches one from deep. What are you doing?
I'm getting the number so that I'll have it. I'm calling myself.
Oh, the Skype number?
Yeah. No. Well,
is that what we're using? Are we using this?
I'm just going to. This way I'll have it. It is good to know that's working.
Okay.
It's always better to have two options than one, right?
You want a lot of funnels.
Hey, who do we have?
Neal?
Hey, you're on. You got to turn your device down. Yeah, he's on delay. You got to turn your device down when you call.
Maybe he'll call back and try again.
I'm sure. Positive. So anybody that's calling, when you call, go ahead and turn everything off. If it rings, turn everything off. Just where you're having a normal phone call. Don't use their speakers and stuff. You're on a 15 to 30 second delay.
Tupelo Rab asking for our favorite sunflower seed flavor. To be such a baseball person, frankly, I'm not a big sunflower seed person.
Me neither.
At all.
No, not even enough to have a favorite flavor.
Mm-mm. I mean, I think I would say barbecue, but it's more of a lack of trying a lot of different flavors.
Yeah, I don't. That's not my thing.
I've seen some have.
I mean, they're fine, but I don't.
I've seen some brands have the dill pickle flavor. I've been curious about those because I like dill pickle chips, like the Golden Flake at all the events and stuff. That's one that will. That's one of those deals you might pick up if you're just snacking and you're trying to stop it, but you can't. That might be something you get at the thing. But I don't know if I'm ever going to walk into Kroger and go, you know what? Where's those Golden Flake dill pickle chips? Like, I feel like that's a time and place thing. You have to be sitting at some SEC event where that's my option.
Yeah, I think
kind of like the orange soda.
For sure. Because I mean, I don't know that I've ever bought orange soda at the store. And yet, back in the day, if there was orange soda, that was my go-to. I don't remember the last time I had an orange soda.
You not?
It's been a long time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Got the opening day lineup completely penciled in. It's set, done. February 15th in Arlington against.
Did y'all have a media op?
Arizona. Yeah, Mike talked for like 16 minutes and Joel Mangrum talked for 6.
Okay.
I'll write something tomorrow on Austin Simmons.
He's playing football.
Yes, that's because it's not baseball season. I'm not writing a bunch of baseball this week. So
we had 22 minutes of Chris Beard today.
I did think Mike gave a really interesting answer on why now. I mean, everybody knows it, but getting a coach to admit the truth is hard. You don't always get that. So I do give him credit for saying it's a necessity and he no longer could do it because not every coach, speaking of one we just mentioned a minute ago, could go that route.
That's no.
He would have cement mouth before he came out with I was basically the game had passed me by to where I could still do that because that's basically what Mike said.
Yeah,
and
well, I mean,
so credit to him.
The game has changed dramatically.
Yes, even talked about the number of pitchers. I thought that was that he said when he got here, a staff might have 12 pitchers and now they have 20, 22. Mm-hmm. He's like just the meetings and the bullpens and just the things from a time standpoint that take there. He says Hunter's healthy and ready to go. I don't know. They got a scrimmage tomorrow at 2:30. If anybody would like to go out and watch it. I would assume that tomorrow is Elliott and Maddox starting the game. I do not know that, but that is my assumption.
Why did I thought I heard Daniel Jones got hurt. Did he not get hurt?
I have not heard that.
Okay. Maybe I dreamt that Daniel Jones got hurt. That'd be a weird thing to dream.
That would be strange. I would have questions. at that point.
Yeah. I don't know where I got that in my head.
I saw from Chris Vanini today on Twitter. I don't know how I ran across it. He's gotten a ton of play off of it, and people have been given a lot of opinions based off what he said. And some of it is, you got the football guy who can't have a normal conversation without being just everything is wonderful about football. But Vanini said, am I wrong that individual college football games today or any sports don't hold the mythical status like they used to? Is it our attention span? Is there just so many more games on TV? It's harder to stand out. I could today recount more great games from 2005 than 2023. And while there's probably some truth to different things, the overwhelming majority of the people said no, it's that you've gotten older and you're not in the age where it consumed you to where you remembered everything. And they likened this, and I guess I could find who actually said it, because I agree with it. It's a lot like people who watch Saturday Night Live. The best cast was whoever when you were like 15 to 20 years old, when you were taking that kind of thing in and you were being formed in your opinions about the subject. So it's not even necessarily that it's worse or better or changed or anything else. It's your individual sort of life path at that point played a role. And I think I agree with that for the most part.
It's probably true. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Austin down in Fairfield.
What's up, Austin? Y'all getting any what's the Helene? Is Helene making her presence felt down there?
Not really. It's been a little windy and overcast, and the temperature's cool, but that's about it. Got some work down in Tallahassee that won't look the same next week, but
so they're saying
here it's not too bad down there.
They're saying Helene's a 4 now. Really?
I haven't seen that. I've seen that it should land as a 4, though.
Okay, I don't know whether I read it incorrectly or what, but I saw the number 4 associated with Helene, and whenever you see the number go to a 4, you go, "Oh God."
Oh yeah, no, you might be right. I saw the same thing. I just, I don't know what's that right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got a question for you, Neal. Fun question. Would you rather be stuck on an island with a bunch of Ole Miss beat writers and Chase, or Hugh Freeze?
Or who?
Or Freeze? Oh, the Ole Miss beat writers. That's easy.
Just because it's more people?
Well, no, but I like some of y'all.
What about the other people?
I mean, they're okay.
You're on a small island.
Yeah, but I don't hate anyone. Because
just don't make it
90% of your interactions
out.
with Freeze have been positive. Y'all could yuck it up
I think Hugh and I would get ugly
over time.
Over a short
Could you
period.
work together to get off the island?
Well, if anything went wrong, I know whose fault it would be.
I mean, Tom Hanks blamed Wilson, so I mean,
Well, he
look,
did.
hey, I'm just saying.
He did. That's true.
One football question, then I'll hop off of here. Neal, I saw in the mailbag the guy you're in the press box and Walter Nolan. It seems like the question has been the motor the whole time. So I don't know, is there anything further you can kind of dive into what y'all talked about in the press conference?
Yeah.
If
Well, I mean, it wasn't really about his motor. It was he looked okay. So he 2 or 3 times he went down. Like at one point, he was standing next to Juice the dog. That's where he went. You know where Juice lays? He was standing right next to Juice, and coaches kind of went to get him. But then when he got in the game, he was fine. But when he came off the field, he went right back. He wasn't hanging out with the other people. He was
hanging with Juice.
Well, maybe so. Maybe it was as simple as he just kind of wanted some time with the dog. It did not appear to be Labrador Retriever related. I don't know what it was. And what the NFL people were saying was it's just kind of interesting. Like you have to ask, they're asking themselves, hey, this guy who's an immense talent is also a high maintenance person, period. That's
been the case from day one.
That's obvious. And so it's, pardon the pun here, it's how much is the juice worth the squeeze? That's a lot. That's a lot with him because he's an electric player, but there's a lot there. He's not Jared Ivey or JJ Pegues where you don't even have to think about that stuff. They're going to show, right? He's
right.
You have to think about it with him. I mean, again, he's a guy that as talented as he was, gave Texas A&M a price, and they just went, nah, screw it. So there's a lot there. That's all. And sometimes people get, not you and not Chase, nobody, but sometimes people get kind of, they're so defensive of their guys that they don't sort of acknowledge that, no, this is a thing. And the NFL, I can tell you this about NFL scouts and stuff, they don't care whether you play at Ole Miss or Purdue or Ohio State or Slippery Rock, man. It's all about what can and can you not do in the building.
Right. Yeah, I noticed them kind of moping off the field after a series, but that's really it. I mean, I'm no analyst, but it was something I noticed. But anyways, guys, appreciate it. Love the show. Neal, Chase, thank you all. Have a good one.
Thank you. That's a good point. Freeze grew up on a farm. He might be more helpful in survival skills of getting off the island.
I'll take my chances. I really will. We'll have enough of us that maybe we can.
I mean, I think if you're picking the people, that's one of the reasons that you get a lot of folks. Now that also resources go faster.
I mean,
you're on out of berries and bananas faster.
But if it comes down to just like a sheer fight for the life.
Have you ever seen the movie Alive? You just start eating each other.
Well, I mean, if it comes down to like a fight for life, I mean, I like my chances to hang in there for a while.
Okay.
I mean, I do, based on kind of what I've seen. I mean, I think I'd have a shot.
Well, I see over there doing push-ups and running around. Just in case. I don't know.
It's just fascinating when people call the old number, even though that's not the number on the screen, but that is the number that works. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Steve from Greenville.
Hey,
What's up, Steve? How are you?
All right. Hey, quick question. Neal, you said this isn't pro sports, but do you consider kids getting NIL deals pro athletes?
That's a good question. Yes.
Okay.
You done it, yes?
And
well, because it's complicated, right, Steve? Because yes, when I say it's not pro sports, at the risk of going into this whole diatribe again, it's not pro sports in that professional sports. When we talk about professional sports, you're talking about the National Football League, Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NHL, MLS in America, right? WNBA. Every one of those leagues has a collective bargaining agreement that is agreed to that sets a specific set of terms that dictates employment, free agency, contracts, everything. Therefore, those are all professional sports. College athletics, as of this moment, doesn't have that. So it's this wild, wild west renegade kind of thing where players are getting paid, but nobody knows what they're getting paid or how long they're getting paid, or there's a lot there. But yeah, if you're getting paid, by definition, you're a professional.
Now, I don't think they could get away with releasing what everybody's making. I think it would destroy college football.
Why? I mean, I'm not necessarily disagreeing, but why would you say that, Steve? I'm curious.
Okay, State got $8 million this week in NIL. They're real excited about that.
Sure.
Believe me, I work with a ton of them.
Okay.
Okay. They wake up tomorrow morning and they release what everybody's making.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, they find out that Ole Miss has $18 million in NIL. Georgia has $25 million. Texas has $30 million.
All right.
How excited are they about their $8?
How excited are the Twins about the Yankees' money?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the the Detroit Tigers are headed to the playoffs.
Here's how I disagree with you the other way, Steve, is it actually in some ways resets expectations to your size and your ability, to where you end up finding a little more comfort in the wins and whatnot, and you kind of understand your place. And sure, you're trying to build it, you're trying to get better, but the unknowing, well, there's a lot of state people you probably work with or go, well, why the hell aren't we beating Georgia and Texas? And especially in the under-the-table mode back in the day.
Well, here's a better example.
We didn't talk about it.
Better example than why are we not beating them? If you're a Pittsburgh Pirates fan today, Steve, and you go, why can't we sign Juan Soto? Well, the answer is because Juan Soto would represent 1/2 of your payroll. He would represent 1/8 of the Yankees' payroll. And so you understand. You understand as a Pirates fan. If you're a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, you understand that the path to winning, the path to the World Series, is a completely different path than the path that the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Phillies or one of the big market teams can take. And so you have to accept that. You have to accept that reality and operate inside of it.
Well, but with that, I mean, at least maybe we get lucky with the draft and we get somebody.
Sure. So we're back into our professional sports thing. See, because if you didn't have professional sports, well, can we stay with the Pirates for a minute? If you didn't have a collective bargaining agreement that included an amateur draft, Paul Skeens would never, ever pitch for the Pittsburgh Pirates, ever. He'd be a Dodger, a Yankee, a Philly, a Brave, right? A Giant. He wouldn't be a Cub because the Cubs are cheap, but he would be one of those kind of guys. But he's a Pirate for at least 6 seasons because they got him in the draft. And so you don't have that. It's another reason. It's when people go, this is college sports or pro sports. I'm like, yeah, but you don't have any of the stuff that makes you a professional league.
Well, I told you 5 years ago, I called him, that I thought eventually we would have a draft in college football. I think it's going to come sooner than we realize.
How?
When the breakaway happened.
Yeah, so here's where you get into the whole deal, right? To do that, you've got to somehow find a way to unionize the players to a point that their agreement includes future players that come in.
And also has zero impact on academics where they don't even care about school in any capacity, because there are kids that would go, hold on a minute, I can't go in the draft to a place that literally doesn't have the major I want to go into. Not a high number, but it does exist.
And a lot of college kids go to schools because of regionality.
Yeah.
And so you might have a college kid from, say, California who says, no, I don't want to go to Rutgers. Right? I don't think it works. I think it's fundamentally flawed unless you come up with some sort of, you're talking about a really complicated salary structure. You're talking about a really complicated employment structure. You're going to have to take this through the courts.
Why couldn't you get the NFL union just to expand a little?
Well, what's in it for the NFL? Why would the NFL agree to pay for college football when the NFL gets the college football as their minor league for free?
No, I'm not talking about the NFL. I'm talking about the NFL Players Union.
Well, the NFL Players Union would mean that you'd have to pay their lawyers to negotiate all of this. Why would they do that? There's no incentive for the NFL to help college football out with this at all. None.
Yeah, you've already got them on board. They get to the NFL.
It's a free minor league. They've got a completely free minor league. If you're going to the restaurant and you eat free, are you going to suddenly go to the restaurant and offer to pay for it? Probably not.
Well, all right. Well, let me ask my last question, and I'll get out of here. My niece wants to know where the vet that takes care of Juice went to school.
It wouldn't be a school vet. I don't know who they use in town. Some stuff probably is just done straight through somebody coming to Wild Rose, if I had a guess, too. I'd almost guarantee Tom at Wild Rose has a vet
who specifically
on his retainer as much as possible,
right.
But I do not know what local person that would be to do that.
I don't either.
But no, it would not be school vet. It would be a local vet, in my opinion, contracted through Wild Rose. But yeah. I don't know that.
I don't know where the person went to. I have no idea where they went to school or any of that.
No clue.
No.
I mean, I probably could dig, but I haven't thought of that.
All
Good
right.
question.
Well, I appreciate y'all taking the time.
Thank you, Steve, as always.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Steve.
it.
Bye.
Wendy's got breakfast burritos now, Neal, so you're taken care of in the morning.
I'd have a nervous breakdown.
Hey, a really good like homemade breakfast burrito is good though.
For sure.
That's pretty golden.
I did when I was in where they play Wake Forest in Winston-Salem. I did have an omelet on. It's more like brunch than it was lunch, but that was good. After my spin workout,
what kind of omelet did you get?
It was sausage and jalapeno and spinach and onion, I think.
Okay.
It was good.
All right.
Put some Tabasco on it.
Did you?
Yeah. Had some like turkey sausage with it. It was good. Mm-hmm.
Healthy.
It was
not unhealthy.
No, it was pretty healthy.
Regular eggs?
Yeah. I thought about doing the egg white.
I'm not a big egg white. I need a little taste.
I don't mind if you mix some egg white just to add to it.
But I need the egg.
But yeah, you need the egg. And the eggs are good for you.
Michael, thanks for Super Chat. Says if there's a breakaway and an attempt made to cap NIL, do we not think that just recreates more likelihood of under-the-table payments? Yeah, anything that has any cap whatsoever is going to activate under-the-table payments. Black markets exist.
I just don't know how you do it. Not saying you can't do it. Just don't know how you do it. Hey, who do we have? Caller, you're on.
Neal?
Yes.
Is this Neal?
Yep. It is. This is Neal.
This is Rodney.
Hey, Rodney, what's up, man?
This is Rodney from Ripley. How y'all doing?
We're good. How are you?
Pretty good. Well, of course, y'all both know this already, but y'all know Ole Miss season's just really starting this Saturday, and I don't know why I've always been like this. I guess because I'm a fan. I'm just nervous about the game, but I expect them to win, but they're calling for rain, I think, so I just wonder if that could affect us any. And I also heard Michael Borky either yesterday or the day before talking about Ivy's in a sling, and
he's going to play.
Nolan's, even he's been okay, his ankle's all right.
Yeah, Ivy's going to play. Pegues is going to play. I think anybody who was probable on that list is going to play. So they're only missing probably Louis Moore and maybe Isaiah Hamilton as far as two deep rotations, if you will.
What about the I can't think of the guy's name. He transferred from Georgia, the linebacker. Dudley, is he playing?
Yeah, he's all right. Daugherty's going to play. Yeah. TJ Daugherty now was Dudley.
Okay,
I hate the ESPN. With the passion. It's the worst app in the history of apps.
But no, I mean, look, I think there's some. I'm sure there's some nervousness because you're playing your first one. You haven't played anybody yet that could even think about beating you.
I can't believe some of the. Well, a lot of it
is that an
fans of the Rebels under 30.
XDWBVI4.
I4. That's what I thought. All right, we're good.
Okay.
Sorry, Rodney.
If it rain, I mean, look, Ole Miss obviously does not want it to rain because that bogs it down.
The rain's going to get out of town by Saturday morning, though, according to
field to be in good shape.
Okay, good.
Yeah. If they played at 11 o'clock tomorrow, you might be in trouble when it comes to that.
Yeah. But there's a lot of Ole Miss, and like I was saying, I think it's Ole Miss fans, the ones that are under 30, they keep talking about how bad they're going to blow them out, pick it 45 to 7 or 10, and I get it. I mean, but we ain't played nobody yet. I mean, but I know we're better because we got a lot from last year come back, and then we've added some pieces, and they seem to be gelling pretty good.
Just win the game.
I know you're better because Vegas has you as a 17.5 point favorites mean that there's a lot of data that indicates you're the better team and you're at home. I think it's
being at home. Well, I'm comfortable.
I mean,
the truth next week's one I'm ready.
The truth is Ole Miss needs to have some adversity on Saturday. They need to be tested a little bit. You don't want your first adversity to be on the road at South Carolina. You really don't. As much as people want to win the game by 40 points.
So you think they need it to be a 7-point game with 5 minutes to go?
No, I just think they need to get punched in the mouth once. I do. I mean, not saying it's going to happen, but they probably kind of need to get hit a little bit.
Y'all think they can that number 0 for Kentucky, he's got me nervous because I'm thinking they could clog up our running game because,
that
is the key.
I know he left us.
That's their style, is to clog up the running game.
I know Dart can get loose, but I'm talking about our running backs on our line. We can move them, and that number 0 is a beast. But see, Junkins, what I appreciated about him, not only was he a great back, I know he was selfish and everything, but he never fumbled in big games and in big moments of games.
No, he was
a force.
He was a very good football player. That's what I've said this for months now.
He carried the thing 34 times in Ole Miss's last game against somebody who could beat them. Penn State.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
And that's with all kind of crap going on the sidelines during that time period.
Yeah.
The quarterback literally telling the head coach to get rid of him.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was getting that bad.
It was.
Lane looked at him and said, "I got nobody else. Go back to the huddle.
Shut up. Go play."
I get it, but what do you mean to do? Yeah. No, that was the clip everybody showed. It said, "Oh, they're fighting." It's like, no, he was just asking him to get Quinshawn out of the football game.
And another thing, I was very disappointed in. I knew Hugh Freeze is messed up and stuff, but I've always took up for him, and I was just disappointed see how the Bo felt about him. That was real disappointing. And I can't believe I can't take it for him no more. He's just I see it now. What y'all talking about? He's just a selfish. Don't want to take no responsibility as a coach. I mean, he's a great coach. Don't get me wrong, but like you said, he don't. Y'all know what he's doing. I mean, I just don't understand it. And Bo, I didn't know Bo really felt that way about it. I guess a lot of people do.
I don't think Bo told half of what he probably really thought.
He didn't. Bo was.
What about old Kelly? Y'all know? Did they get along? Chad.
I've not heard Chad
Hugh
reference him individually. In my opinion,
I can't speak to that. I don't have the relationship with Chad that I do with Bo. I mean, I get along with Chad.
Sure
and
I don't. I've been listening. Right.
Yeah.
I've been watching y'all even back because I'm excited about the season. I can't help it. I mean, I'm in my 40s now, and I try not to let young kids dictate how they're gonna make me feel over the weekend. But I done got into it again.
Wait a minute, Rodney. Rodney, hold on.
And it's fun.
Hold on, Rodney. You're in your 40s? Because your voice sounds older than 40s.
Oh, I'm 46.
Wow, I would not have guessed that.
What'd you guess?
Huh?
I mean, I would have guessed that he was older than that.
What y'all think I am, an old man?
No, just voices. When you're just relying on a voice, sometimes you get tricked. I talked to someone today whose voice.
I smoke a half a pack of cigarettes, and maybe that has something to do with it.
Okay, all right, maybe so. A little more gravel in your voice. That makes sense.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. But I can't. There's people like Stephen Willis. Now he goes around and does all this bragging. He needs to be quiet. I mean, it could come back to bite us. Just be humble and try to win games. I love the way Kiffin coaches. Each game is his own entity.
Chase?
And each week you just yes.
Hey, ask Rodney, ask Chase how he feels about that subject.
What's that?
The guy you were
It
just
is
talking
not
about.
going to have any. I will at least clear your mind, Rodney, and then I'm shutting up because if you can't say anything nice, you say nothing at all. It will not have any impact on Ole Miss's ability. So you can be annoyed or not annoyed, but I know you know this. I'm not like talking down to you, but I get what you're saying. But I guarantee that no one on that field Saturday will have any thought process whatsoever of the gentleman that you're discussing right now. It's going to be all right. So, no, I will not turn around.
He gets on my nerves sometimes, doing all that talking. He's making such a big deal about that Matt Jones, something about our stadium. I could care less about it.
Matt Jones did exactly what Matt Jones was trying to do. He executed 3 days perfectly.
You telling me that he took the bait on Matt?
Why
do you have your back turned to the camera here? You just don't want to talk
Daniel
about
Jones
this?
is on the damn screen. Danny Dimes is pitching over here.
You don't want to have this conversation with the audience? We have an audience here that they want
to. Who's pitching?
I was watching Daniel Jones of the Giants warm up. He was tossing some balls to elite neighbors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you much of an NFL fan, Rodney? You can be watching the Cowboys and Giants tonight.
I'm a casual fan. I like the Bears.
Oh, really?
My team, but I'm not into it like I used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've heard.
Is that because you grew up with like the Ditka stuff? Is that?
Well, I've always grew up. My favorite team in basketball, my favorite athlete of all time is Michael Jordan, and I was Chicago, and I adopted all Chicago teams except for the White Sox.
You a Cubs fan?
I don't know why. Yes, I love the Cubs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big baseball fan, but I was proud to see them win that series. What was that, 16?
16. November the 2nd, 2016. Yep. It's a good
day. Made up for 03, you know.
It did.
03 like to kill me.
Yeah, 03 killed me too. Maybe the last time I smoked a cigarette. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was. Now that you mention it.
Wow. Yeah, because we was, 5 outs away from getting that game.
We were, yep.
And then I'll never get over that. But we got that title now. They can go another 50 years, I guess, or 100.
It looks that way.
That's what they think, too.
That's starting to be what it looks like. Yep.
Yeah, I know it. Well, all right, fellas, I'm going to try to probably give y'all a call each week if I can.
All right.
Please do. Appreciate talking to you. Thank you.
Maybe Chase will be more cooperative about your.
Good.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
That's a damn good looking M script on that field.
You're just doing all you can.
It's a damn good script on that field.
All you can do to change the subject.
Ole Miss Texas soccer on the screen in front of us. The Longhorns and the Rebels.
What are all the numbers for? They retired numbers?
I don't know what that is. What is that?
I don't know. Does Ole Miss have retired soccer numbers?
It might be an alumni weekend thing because it's homecoming.
Oh, okay.
It might be former players back in town. I do not know that at all.
Oh, okay.
I am taking a guess.
Okay.
But that could be. Yeah, guys, I mean, in all seriousness, Matt Jones was doing a bit, and it was 100% executed in every capacity. He's good at what he does. KSR is good.
Well, when you go fishing in waters that have been pre-stocked, it's not exactly difficult.
It's like the hunting where they bring the pheasants in and release them over you,
yes.
like in
Here,
Succession.
everyone, shoot the ducks.
Yes.
Hey, who do we have?
Hello, my name is Jackson.
Hey, Jackson, how are you?
I'm good.
How old are you, Jackson?
I'm 13.
13, okay.
Yeah, my dad watches. I watch it. I mean, he listens in the car and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
We appreciate you calling in, Jackson. What's up?
I have a question.
Okay.
Who's y'all's favorite player in the NCAA?
In the whole NCAA, who's my favorite player in the whole NCAA? Ooh.
Like to watch and stuff.
Who is your favorite one?
Yeah, who's yours?
I like Caden Lee.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Who's your favorite non-Ole Miss player in NCAA?
Ooh. That's a good question.
That's why they pay me the
probably,
big bucks, Jackson, right there.
Probably Arch.
Oh, okay.
Who do you say?
Arch Manning,
Okay.
backup quarterback at Texas. You're aware of him?
Not every Ole Miss fan shares that opinion,
No,
Jackson.
probably not.
That's.
Yeah,
I think my favorite player to watch this year in the NCAA so far has been Cam Ward.
Is it really?
At Miami? Yeah, he makes some throws.
If he were playing for anybody but Miami, I have a hard time with Miami.
And then my other favorite NCAA player so far this year that I've just really enjoyed is Diego Pavia.
That might be.
He's been a lot of fun.
I have gotten hooked on the Vanderbilt thing of just enjoying watching him make Vanderbilt sort of competitive. And we're really going to pull for him in a few weeks, Jackson.
Oh, so much.
What's the score prediction this weekend, Jackson? What's going to happen with Ole Miss and Kentucky?
I honestly think it's going to be 24-17.
Oh, close game.
I'm going to need some Tums on the postgame show if you're correct, Jackson. That is going to be. I'm going to have to be cyber passing those out somehow.
So where are you from, Jackson? What town? Hattiesburg. Okay. You coming to the game?
No.
Not coming to the game?
Are you surrounded by a bunch of Golden Eagles in school every day?
Yes.
Yeah.
I usually get some hate for it.
Do you play sports?
Yeah, I play baseball, basketball.
Oh, okay. What position do you play in baseball and basketball?
I play third base, catcher, and like a guard in basketball.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Well, listen, we appreciate you calling very much. Good luck with your seasons, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Jackson, caller of the day so far.
Hannah's very offended right now.
Yeah, but come on. No, she'd hand the award off to Jackson there. Should have asked him, does he spell his name with an X or with a CK?
Oh.
That was a miss. There's a decent.
We're probably a few years away from getting a few of those.
Yeah, a few years away from some JAXSONs probably. Think there'll be. All right, caller, hang on one second. I want to finish asking my question. Let's say Jackson,
Sure.
Let's say Ole Miss has the dream season. Are there as many Jacksons in a few years as there are Eli's running around right now?
A dream season?
All right, let's say they make the playoffs. First round loss in the playoffs. Are there as many Jacksons as there are Eli's?
No.
What if they made,
because
what
of
if
the
they,
spelling?
What if they made the semifinal?
Because of the spelling.
What if they won the championship?
Yes.
Okay. All right, go ahead, caller.
Yes.
Go ahead, caller. I like sociological questions. What's up?
Neal, Chase, Mark, Columbus.
Hello, Mark. We're good.
You're all giddy these days when you call. I don't even recognize you. Damn Vols covered.
Guardians in the playoffs.
If you could get an Ohio State loss, I mean, you'd be cooking with gas.
Tennessee undefeated, getting lots of media love. Nico looking good.
Overshadowing Ole Miss. Nobody even mentioned the damn Rebels because of the Vols.
Total disrespect.
Well, I do think, you think Lane, because I personally think the game for us on Saturday night was really good for our team. Like, we got a lot more out of that than we would have with a boat race 49-7. And
yeah, I agree.
It was kind of a, like, that's the first time, like, it shows that Heupel's grown into the job. He 2 years ago, I don't think he does that. He was down 2 tackles. The only way Oklahoma was winning the game was we get them in field position. And he put the game in deep freeze, and I mean, it was a dominant win, obviously, but, you know, he wanted to get the ball down the field, but he had the discipline not to keep the pedal to the metal. I was thoroughly impressed. I was way more impressed by that if they had won 49-7.
I completely agree.
Yeah, we hit it a little this morning. I mean, there is a certain maturity to a coach that can calm down and go, I'm not going to win the way I'm most comfortable winning.
I mean, I know Wayne likes to get, he likes to throw the call sheet in the air and throw the visor and all that. He wants that offense coming up and down the field, but you think a part of him for the growth of the team, but they're a little more mature than we are. But let's get, let's have this be a game in the third quarter. We got to, do away a little bit.
I don't think he'd hate it. honestly. I don't know that. Maybe he would like to go win by 70 points, but there's a part of me that kind of thinks he wouldn't hate being able to address his team at the half in a way that he hasn't been able to yet. I don't mean yelling and screaming, but I mean, hey, let's focus. Let's make some adjustments. Let's focus in on these things. As opposed to, all right, look, we're up 31, but it hasn't exactly been clean. I just don't know that you can get. I mean, people
at some point there's like, okay,
yeah. I mean, come on, if you've ever played a sport and you've been involved in blowouts, you know that at halftime nobody's listening. That's human nature. Not the starters. The backups are like, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to go get my shot, right? But guys we're up 35-3. There's a 0% chance you're losing, and so that changes your intensity. It just does.
We got about 5% of the fan base that were pissed off Saturday night because they didn't score 45 points. I was just like, oh my God, you people have done this.
Well, Mark, let me just say this. There is a segment of the population that this crosses any and all fan base, any and all lines that is just
dumb.
Yeah, and there's I always say this, there's Meatloaf Monday is a real person. There are some people that you can tell them, all right, look, this thing's going to happen on one of the days of the week, and it's not Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And they still will not know it's Monday until you go, it's Monday, dumbass. That's a real thing. It just is.
Neal, you obviously covered Auburn. I want to make a quick Q3 point and see what you think of it. Like, it's widely considered that Auburn's going all in 2025. Like, that's the year they're pointing to.
Sure.
Whatever.
Sure.
But it's one thing to kind of punt on a season, but it's quite another to lose to Cal and Arkansas at home and then subsequently melt down post-game in the press conference and then double down on Monday.
Yes.
I don't think Auburn had on their bingo card lose to Cal and Arkansas and be staring square in the face at the 2-6 headed to Vandy. Like, is he 100% getting 2025?
Dear God,
is he 100%
no.
getting?
As of today, yes. But I'll say what I've said so many times. I'm being redundant, but we do a lot of podcasts. So a loss, I'm going to pull out my little trusty schedule. Hold on.
Thanks to O'Neal Steel.
Yeah, thanks to the people at O'Neal Steel. Y'all are awesome. I have really gotten my money's worth out of this thing. My God. I mean, I love this thing. When the season's over, I might frame it. September 26th is we're having this conversation, right? So an Auburn loss to Missouri on October the 19th doesn't sting today the way that it would on October the 19th. An Auburn loss at Kentucky on September the 26th doesn't sting as much as it will a month from tonight when it happens on October the 26th. You know what I'm saying? And so the whole Vanderbilt thing on November the 2nd, in a world, now this world requires this. It requires a loss Saturday to Oklahoma, requires a loss at Georgia. It requires a loss at Missouri and a loss at Kentucky. Okay, that's four ifs. And I mean, only one or one and a half of those ifs are like that's going to happen. Like they're not beating Georgia, and I don't think they're beating Missouri. But I mean, if you told me Auburn beat Oklahoma, I'm not shocked. If you told me Auburn won in Lexington, I'm not shocked. But in a world where they lost all four of those games, on November the 2nd, if they were to lose at home to Vanderbilt, all bets were off. Because of the emotion of what that loss would be.
Oh, God.
Hugh Freeze would hope that November the 5th, the following Tuesday, was the most contentious election in American history, and that it was so big and it was so nasty that even Auburn fans couldn't talk about football.
Yeah,
I don't mean that hyperbolically. I mean, he would literally, if he lost all five of those games, he would need that election to be the most 3 a.m. America burning down thing to save his gig. I'm almost being completely serious.
Yeah.
Because in that scenario, he still has to play Texas A&M and Alabama. And even though
probably quit.
And even though Auburn looks at Alabama right now and goes, okay, well, they're ahead of us and it's in Tuscaloosa and we're going to lose, that the emotion of that game always kicks in.
And with a team that's probably quit on them by then.
Well, so there you go. See, you're good at this, and this is why I think the reaction Saturday and then the stupid comments Monday are interesting. Because look, if you're in rebuild mode, yeah, you lost a couple of games you didn't think you'd lose, but you keep plugging along. You keep having a message. There's a positivity that you say, that you do, that hey, this is a process and we knew this was going to be difficult, blah, 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 blah. And it's coach speak, but you say it in the locker room too. I mean, you got to wonder, like, what's the feeling inside that locker room about what he said about quarterbacks? Those quarterbacks are in the locker room all the time. Hank Brown has friends on that team. You know, I mean, Peyton Thorne has friends on that team. There are people on that team that like those guys, that they're bothered by it. These are human beings. They go home to their apartments or whatever, their dorms. They have parents. They have girlfriends. They have friends that are like, hey, what's up with your coach talking about Peyton like that or Hank like that? There's a lot there, and that thing can spiral on you pretty quick. And if you lose a team, man. Look out.
And a place like Auburn, oof.
Yeah, no, it's.
I mean, dude, seriously, that bye week at 2-6,
Oh.
or whatever it would be.
Grind says if there was, and he's an Auburn fan. Grind says if there was any chance of him getting fired, the media would already be on that narrative. He's 2-2 and they're chilling. Never seen anything like it. That's interesting. Yeah, and again, hey, I'm not there. I don't have my finger on the pulse of that, so I don't know. I mean, I just 2-2 is a totally different record than 2-6, and you don't get to 2-6 without getting to 2-3 and 2-4 and 2-5. That's just the way the math works. And so as that happens, the emotions change, and we'll just have to see. This isn't the teleport business, right? You don't go from 2-2 to 2-6, or in this case 2-7 overnight. It happens. It literally goes from now to the Saturday before the election, the first Saturday in November. I mean, there's a lot there. That's an entire month of October that you would have to suffer through. And
they're playing a legit defense on Saturday, man. Like that Oklahoma team's got pros at all three levels. Like,
yeah, OU's good. OU's really good on that end. No question. No question about it.
We wrecked their offense. We totally wrecked their offensive line, but I think our defensive line is really good. Like, for the first time in 15 years, I feel like we're not going to get our ass kicked up front by Georgia and Alabama.
I agree.
And
it's one of the reasons that I think Ole Miss has a chance to go undefeated, given their schedule, is that they are so good up front on defense, elite quarterback play, great receiver play. In this era of football, those are the three areas that you have to have, and then you have to be at least serviceable up front on offense. That's what really hurts Oklahoma, is they're not. Tennessee is at least serviceable up front, if not good. Ole Miss is at least serviceable, if not good. I think Texas is good up front. So that's one of the reasons those three teams are doing what they're doing.
And in the portal era, no one's got depth on the offensive line. That's
No.
I will kind of slow it down. We were down 2 tackles, and he's just like, I'm not going to get the kid hurt. I don't want to get Nico hurt. Like, they can't score.
Yeah. No, he protected him.
But
he would have loved to have put 80 points on his alma mater, but he did the right thing, and he won the game.
And so one more question. What do you think? Do you think 10-2 in the SEC is a lock, besides everybody except Missouri, because their schedule's kind of weak?
Oh, to get in? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. And I still think if Missouri got to 10-2, they'd have a puncher's a better than a puncher's chance. Yeah, I do.
I won't still have to take you 11 to Quinn, Sean. I said, well, you wait till he holds out for the playoff games for more money.
Man, I mean,
Do y'all
You're not
think
ruling it out right
any-
now.
no, I don't rule it out. I just think, wow. You talk about that
Do
would
you
be
think? Oh, meltdown city.
well.
Oh,
The NFL people would go, okay, that's it. See ya.
Yeah.
Running back,
Do you think
they're not going to
anybody-
invest like that in a running back.
Do you think anybody's quote unquote nursing injuries because they're holding out for money or they haven't gotten paid or anything anywhere in college football?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Probably.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's even a question.
Much like Ole Miss, I'm pretty happy that my school's NIL program is good. I could imagine dealing with that.
I mean, here's the thing: is it's just so momentum based. Like you do have some that are better than others, but it's more about efficiency and getting everybody involved. I bet there's not 3 collectives in the country that aren't like they're any more than like 90-day cash flowed. Like that's the thing is that everybody's just
90?
month to month, 2 months. Like
I would think it's more like 60 is if you're doing well.
You're just kind of counting on that constant movement. Like, when you sign kids, you don't necessarily have all the money all the way through August. I mean, it is
One of the things I'm watching for is about week 7, week 8 for a team that's lost 3 or 4 games, maybe 5 games. When the alums that are when they're dependent on a couple of big donors or they're dependent on some alums that are giving, $2,000 a month or whatever, when those people go, man, it's getting close to Christmas and we suck and this sucks and my wife is, nope, I'm out. And enough of that happens and suddenly they can't pay some guys. Woo, going to get rough.
All right, y'all.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, guys.
What's going on?
I'm just looking. I was reading Jay's board. I was kind of looking around.
You looked intense. I was like,
No, I was
something's
looking
happening.
around. I was staring at that photo of the screenshot from Freeze lying in the hospital bed during the game. Like I still am just stunned that happened. Like I went, wow, that was real. That happened.
It's crazy. I so badly wanted to do that. Hold on one second, caller. You're with us. I so badly wanted to do that for Halloween.
Lay in the driveway.
I was going to get a hospital bed. I actually inquired about it. It was just going to be expensive.
Was it?
But I wanted to get a hospital bed.
And lie in the driveway?
And lie in the driveway and hand out trick-or-treating.
With a Liberty visor?
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to get a Liberty hat or whatever. You got to admit it would have been
really
fantastic.
Good. You'd have made the news, though.
I know, and then I'm being a jerk.
You'd have made the news.
I know. But God, it would have been funny. Hey, caller, who do we have?
Hey, this is Steven. I'm wondering what the hell Chase's problem is.
Nothing. All good. I was admiring the soccer game. It's 0-0, 10-10 to go, first half. Script looks amazing in the middle of the field. The Renaissance signs out there next to the end zones. I'm all good. What's going to happen Saturday? 98-0?
Probably.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I was just calling in to mess with y'all. Hey, love the show. Been on here since like 11 o'clock this morning.
Appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank
man,
you.
that's nice of you. What have you thought of the programming today? Give me the report card. I'm good. I can handle it.
All right, so I actually do a little sponsorship with you guys with McCready and Siskey, so I've actually loved it. Sounds good.
Okay, good.
Keep it going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, talk to y'all later.
Campbell called in and made my picks for
I
me.
assume that's what was coming.
That's what happened. Campbell made her picks. She's a 2-time LB's Cup champion.
Oh.
She did. She won twice, lost once. Can't do worse than I did. I mean, she could technically do worse than I did, but it would be really hard.
So you're putting your NASCAR situation in her hands.
Yeah, but I told her there's no pressure. I said, if this thing falls apart, it's not your fault. Don't worry about it. No blame.
She did some research.
She has a friend, one of her roommates, former sorority sister. I guess they're still sorority sisters. Roommate. I think Ellen's a former roommate. I don't think Ellen's a roommate now, but
oh, really?
Yeah, one of her roommates from when she was, I guess, her junior year.
Uh-huh.
Big football fan. Very, very, very
knowledgeable.
Very knowledgeable, and she helped with the picks, I think.
How's Caroline's fantasy team doing?
I have not asked about Caroline's fantasy team.
She's not asked for help on which kicker to play.
She is playing Harrison Butker as her kicker, even though she's friends with the Jacksonville Jaguars kicker, who is on her roster, who's having a really good year, by the way. Cam's having a really good season.
Is he? Yeah.
He does.
His team is not.
His team is not, but he is. Yeah. It's not his fault that they're losing. Hey, who do we got?
Hey, Neal. Hi, Chase. How are you doing?
Good. Who's this?
Good. My name's Sean. I thought I'd call and talk a little bit about running. You guys want to talk running tonight?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Why not?
So, Chase, I thought I'd give you some tips.
I need all the tips you got, Sean. Go ahead.
Okay. There we go. Yeah, I've actually run Philly before.
Oh.
Heard you talk about it a lot. I was actually out on my long run last weekend and thinking about tips that I could give you. So, it's interesting when I hear Neal talk about it too, is that everybody's different. So, my tips are different than Neal's tips and, what you're going to read, what you're going to see. So everybody's body, Neal will tell you, everybody's body does a little bit different, right?
Yes, that is true. I look at a lot of other people and think, yes, that person's body probably operates a lot more efficiently than mine.
Well, everyone does different. That's the whole point when you've been talking, Neal, about the training, and Chase has been talking about the training. It's you learn through it. So a couple tips I have. I use GU. I don't know about Neal when you were training for your marathon.
Yes,
I used GU.
I used GU. I did. I used. I would take a GU every hour.
I'm still searching for the one that is not kind of bothering my stomach a little bit. I've gone through several, and I have not figured out which one is going to be the winner yet.
So I went GU every 4 miles. So whatever that is for you, Neal, that's probably about the same. I think you and I about did the same pace. So I actually did GU every 4 miles. I also went with the, something you could think about, Chase, which is you can actually mix the GU in your Gatorade or your Powerade or whatever you're doing. You can actually squeeze it in.
All right, so hold on, because he's gonna want to know this because flavor and stuff matters. What flavor GU did you mix in what flavor of Gatorade? Because here's the thing, so in Chicago, they gave you the green Gatorade, and one of the things I didn't like about Chicago was that especially the second time, is that the mix. This is like a Ted Lasso thing coming up. Remember in Ted Lasso? I don't even give a shit if this is a spoiler alert.
Yeah, whatever.
They like Nate because he made a great sports drink.
Yeah.
The second Chicago Marathon that I ran in 2015, they didn't put enough water in the concentrate, and that
was sugary and sweet,
thick and sugary, and it made you sick. And so you got to be careful with that kind of thing. So when you say that, like, what are you mixing into what?
Well, the thing is, I bring my own fluids. So that's one of my other key tips.
Okay, so I'm fascinated. So do you put that like on a belt pack around you?
Belt with 2 bottles.
Is that weighing you down?
Yeah, but as you go through the race, it lightens up.
So how much water are you carrying?
2 bottles, probably 20 ounces each.
That's it?
Now, that's not going to get me all the way through the race, but at least it'll get me through, 18, 19 miles, because I'm doing a couple sips of fluid every 2 miles, and then mixing in the GU every 4 miles. So it'll work out. I think it's about, I heard Neal talking about it last week, it's probably about 18 miles in that, it'll run out. And then you have a choice. You can either, what you can do is if you already have the empty bottles, it kills you, because Neal will tell you, it'll kill you to stop. But if you stop at the water stop, you can actually just use the cups there and fill your water bottles back up.
I mean, what's striking about this to me, and I know I'm a pretty moderate sweater. It's been hot. It's been humid. I drink so much more than that to a level that you're almost sort of fascinating me right now, to be honest. Like, when I say more, I mean a lot more.
That doesn't make you have to stop and urinate?
Never. I sweat.
No, never. I'm a heavy sweater too.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking. I mean, I ran the half last 2 weeks ago. Last week, I don't know. It's running together at this point, and I probably over the course of the 13 miles had 70 ounces of water. 80.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Something like that.
Because I'll do 20 ounces over 10 miles.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't drink a lot when I run.
I was drinking every 2.5 miles ish. But I mean, I was drinking a pretty good bit.
Because I don't want to have in my back of my mind, and this happened to me the first Chicago Marathon, I overhydrated. And the whole first 6 miles, all I could think about was, I've got to pee.
Yeah.
And so ultimately I had to go pee at like 6 miles.
And you're annoyed.
I was annoyed. And at that point, you're still waiting in a line. And it's the reason I didn't break the 4-hour thing was because I waited 5-6 minutes to pee.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I mean,
nobody wants to hear this.
It's fine. So what? So
some of us do because I'm calling in here.
So what flavor goo were you using?
Oh, I have a mix. I mean,
Okay.
I will mix it up. I'll usually do. I'll have strawberry, banana, or chocolate, or espresso, whatever. None of them.
Okay.
You know, all of them. I have the whole pack, and whatever. A multi-pack.
You can get a variety energy box for $39.50, Chase.
Can I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So you got the goo. You got the.
They have chews. You could have chews. If you're worried, seriously, you could do the chews instead of the goos.
Yeah.
If you're worried about the consistency.
I don't hate
now,
that.
a couple other things.
We have waffles. You can do the little energy waffles.
My go-to, I don't know about you, Neal, but my go-to for the night before the race is actually ramen. I just do a cheap ramen, and with the ramen, you're getting all the carbs, and you're getting probably 1,000 grams of salt. I mean, it's heavily salted, heavily carb. Do it early. The other thing with you traveling to Philly is you're going to possibly, I assume, a hotel. And if you do the ramen, you can do the ramen all the way through your training and eat the same meal in Philly.
That's true.
The night before you're going.
Yeah, listen. The night before my first marathon, I watched Ole Miss Texas A&M at a bar in Chicago, and I had
Alfredo, didn't you?
No. I had gnocchi.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, but I had several beers and a couple glasses of wine.
Did you really?
I did. Because I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm sipping an Element right now while we're doing the show, which has got the 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and some magnesium.
I had a Parrish Ghost in the Machine. It's empty now, but it was good.
Because my long run is tomorrow. I do it on Friday.
How far is your run tomorrow?
15.
15 miles.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I'm excited.
Good for you.
I'm pumped. Let me tell you.
I got one last tip, and then I'll let you get back to your
good.
callers. The other thing is what I do is, and you'll know this because it's a pretty large race. I'm not sure about. I know Neal did Chicago, so that was a pretty big one. I'll pick up clothes at a Walmart. I'll buy them right off the rack. Then before I head up, and so I'll have my sweatpants, especially East Coast because it's going to be cold. So I'll have sweatpants. I'll have a sweatshirt. I'll have a hat. And then from there, you just, right at the start line, because it's going to be cold, take it off. And most large races, they usually collect all the clothes at the start line, and they'll take them to the local cleaners and then donate them to a homeless shelter.
Yeah, I did that in California.
How early do I need to get there for Philadelphia?
2:15.
2 hours?
2:15, 2:30.
Shut up.
No, Philly, it depends. Philly, literally, it depends. You got to look at your corrals. Philly, when I went, I was in the city. I think you said a while ago you were in the city.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so nice. It's worth every dime to stay in the city.
I'm staying like right by. I'm staying very close to the start line, like within a half mile of the start line.
Oh yeah, then it probably depends on how everybody's body's different. Maybe an hour before would be.
Okay. I just worried about. I was thinking more like security, getting there, getting set. Like I didn't know how long some of the logistics might take.
No, I mean Philly. Again, I've run quite a few. Philly was top. I mean, I can't think of any one I did that I didn't like more than Philly.
Oh.
Yeah, Philly was up. I mean, that's why I was very envious when I heard you say you were running it. I was like, yeah, that's probably around 11 or 12, and Philly was definitely up there.
Because I almost picked New York until I had a buddy talk me out of the logistics of trying to run it because it's too many runners and too much of a struggle to get out there and get started.
Yeah, I think New York. I think I was there by 5 a.m. and I
That's
don't
what
think
I've
we
heard.
started until 10 a.m.
I've heard you.
Oh,
I've
God.
heard you stand around for 4 or 5 hours.
No way.
Yeah. Now the good thing about New York is that what they do is they already put you in your corrals early, so you're only in corrals of maybe 1,000, 2,000 people.
Oh, well.
And then in that corral, you have your food, you have your restrooms. So you're really not dealing with the 40,000 people. You're dealing with your normal 2,000 person
Okay.
race.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Well, as we get closer, call back. Let's talk about it. Yeah, thank you.
I wish you the best of luck in your race, and I hope you have good training.
Thank you. We're trying. We're seeing if we can get there right now.
Thank you for the call.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for all the good work.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, like I said, it sounds like it's more mental than physical at the moment. It's dreading doing it.
Mm-hmm. What time are you getting up to run?
Really early.
At 4?
Maybe before.
What are you going to do if it's raining at 6?
I'm going to run.
You're going to run in the rain?
It might rain in Philadelphia.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I ran a...
Do you have the Streets of Philadelphia song in your... Are you playing any Rocky music on your thing?
I have not.
Do you have it where set up where at the end you're going to have the Rocky music when you're running up the steps?
No, it's probably playing like there somewhere. Probably, I don't know.
I mean, that'd be cool to play.
They have a Rocky Run race in Philadelphia. That's like whatever distance it is.
Play Eye of the Tiger. You'll run so fast for Eye of the Tiger.
You might.
Yeah,
it's the right time.
Absolutely.
Hit the juice.
But
look, Big Ben's got a point. I mean, marathons are so dumb. You just show how bored we are as humans. Our persistent hunters, ancestors are ticked. We chose to do that. I mean, you travel and pay money to just run.
Yeah.
The concept
awesome.
to the aliens.
But you're gonna get
would be very curious.
You're gonna get a medal.
I haven't looked to see what it looks like.
I mean, I can go show you a medal. You want to see? You want to see a medal?
I know. I have some medals.
I'll show you a medal. Hey, who do we have?
Yo, it's Grind.
What's up, Grind?
Oh man, this week has been tough. Today I got some bad news, and I'm not talking about all.
Okay, well the good news is, hey, Grind, listen, you get to try today 9 more times, and it'll all be okay.
If today happens again, then I'm gonna be nervous when I wake up. If today happens 9 more times over, I'm gonna be nervous.
What happened today?
Today, I realized that, I'm an alum of South Alabama, and so I was able actually to talk to a very important guy who gives to South Alabama Athletics. I mean, he gave so much that when they built the new stadium, they named the parking lot after him. And so he basically told me that, how he was able to get with the one of South Alabama's small NIL programs, and it ended up raising $50,000 for their basketball team, and they was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so great." And he kept talking, and I was like, "Well, hold on," because I was curious. And so I was like, "Well, how much is the football team? How much is South Alabama giving the football team NIL?" And he said, "Man, when I talk NIL with people, South Alabama people, they get frustrated." And so I was like, "Well, let me know, what you're talking about." And so long story short is, he said between all 16 sports at South Alabama, they're spending about $350,000 on NIL. And that's when I realized that all this G5 stuff, I think I eventually think that everybody's going to end up doing the move that Idaho made. I think FCS is going to end up being, the new thing. I don't even think that you can even have, a small, P4 structure. It's just $350,000 with all 16 sports.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
But I mean, like, you went to South Alabama. I grew up in Ruston, where Louisiana Tech is. That they don't. That's about the limit, man. Those schools, they're not going to raise millions of dollars for athletics. There's no return on investment on that, right? I mean, they don't have big TV contracts. They don't have giant. I mean, it doesn't make sense. That's why I've been saying all along, and people push back on it, like the Middle Tennessee Ole Miss game, the Georgia Southern Ole Miss game. Those games, I think, are dinosaurs. it's soon because they're not even playing the same sport. One team is an amateur team, and the other team is essentially a professional team.
And when I think about it, I think those like Southern Miss and South Alabama and ULA, I think life would be better as the FCS program. I hate because the thing about it is South Alabama fought so hard to become a D1 program just to have all this happen to go back to FCS would be sad. But I think life would be better there.
Until you were playing other teams that were like you, and the games were fun and the games were interesting, and you went 9-3 and you made the playoffs and you upset James Madison in round 1, and all of a sudden you've got Nevada coming in for round 2 in Mobile on a Saturday afternoon, and suddenly people are like, hey, this is fun. Like, I always use the same analogy. They have the state championships in Oxford or Starkville every other year, okay? There's no question that if the Class 2A champ played the Class 7A champ, the Class 7A champ would beat them mercilessly. But what I always notice, and I mean this sincerely, like Chase is laughing at me, and I get it, it's funny, but I'm being serious here. When the Class 2A team wins the state title, mom and dads are thrilled. Little brothers and little sisters are thrilled. The boys are thrilled. The cheerleaders are thrilled. It's so exciting, and everybody takes pictures, and they take their trophy, and people are emotional, and it's exciting, and they remember it for the rest of their lives, and it's okay.
Yeah, the Boonville guy didn't go, oh, Brandon would beat the hell out of us.
When I was a kid in Ruston, I think I was in the 8th grade. I'll never forget it. My next door neighbor, his name was Kerry Merritt. He was the starting center on Ruston High School's team. And they were playing in the state championship game on a Saturday night in New Orleans in the Dome. And earlier that day, Louisiana Tech played in the Division 1AA National Semifinal and lost. And they flew some of the Tech coaches who had kids on the Ruston High team down to New Orleans so that they could be there for the state championship game. And it was like both of them had these title runs. And Ruston, as a town, was super into both the high school team and Tech going for a championship. Now, if you'd made Tech play Auburn or Alabama or Georgia or Tennessee that year, they'd have lost by 45 points. But they beat Mississippi Valley. They beat Alcorn. They beat Delaware, I think, before they lost to whoever. And there was a time Louisiana Monroe, at that point was Northeast Louisiana, won the 1AA national championship. They won it up in the Idaho Dome, whatever that was in.
The Kippy Dome.
They came home and had a parade. And at no point in the parade in Monroe did anybody go, this is the 1AA championship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's what I was going to say with your high school analogy. Those kids, when they get back to school, they still call themselves champions. They don't say
because they are champions. Yeah. They won the championship. I mean, that's my point. So sometimes it's just like I was watching Wake Forest and Ole Miss going, these two teams are not playing the same sport. So it's time, I think it's part of it. And everybody talks about the money, and I don't know how you do the money. That's not my job. I don't make enough money to figure out that money. But someone needs to figure it out because they're not playing the same sport. So go back to having a lower league, let them play for a championship, and I promise you two things. One, the championship will be meaningful, and two, our country is so football crazy that we'll watch it.
Yeah, we would. We would. My thing is with that, I don't know. I don't think the Wake Forests and Mississippi States of the world would give up that check. I think they would just close their eyes and take their, get their heads beat in.
Sure, and that's a decision. That's a decision they'd have to make, right? But at least you'd have the freedom to make the decision.
Quick hit before I get to Oklahoma. Is Jeff Ledbetter the next Chad Morris?
Ooh, it's too early to say that. It's too early to say that. He hasn't had any time at all to kind of try to put a roster together.
When I watched Mississippi State on Saturday against Florida, I got Chad Morris, Arkansas vibes. I don't know why I did, but I was just like, dude. And and Chad Morris was a hot OC. I mean, everybody thought when he got hired by Arkansas, everybody thought that, hey, it's a solid hire. He's at least going to stabilize the program, and it never happened.
No, I get it. So this
And
game's
now
on
Oklahoma-
Amazon.
Yeah, it is.
Do like what is this Brent Venables hot seat stuff? Make sense to y'all? Like,
No.
Hell no.
No, it's stupid. But it doesn't mean it's not real, but it is stupid.
I mean, dude, they like, I know I'm an Auburn fan and whatnot, but I looked at their schedule and after this, after they play Auburn with the bye week, shit get real. I mean, they got, I think it's Texas, Missouri, LSU, Alabama. I think, so I could see from, Kerry's and, Sooner Scoop's point of view where it's like, hey, if you can't beat Auburn, then the rest of the schedule might be a wrap. But I don't understand how you would let that cloud your, judgment on where the program is, unless Oklahoma looks at Texas and says that, that should be us. Whatever Texas is doing, we should be able to do it as well. That's the only conclusion I can come to.
I mean, I guess, but dang. I mean, and look, I'm a guy that thought Venables was over his head at the beginning for sure. I was very down on him when he was first hired. And it's not great. But that schedule makes it impossible to accurately do it with a first-year quarterback in Jackson Arnold or whatever they do as the year moves on. He was always going to be a year away.
Are they so accustomed to offense that maybe they're tripping a little bit? Or?
I'm sure. Yeah, there's personalities of programs.
Okay, I get that. And then my last thing, Neal, you're probably going to understand what I'm getting at. It's weird vibes that I'm getting, man. You know the Auburn media, when there's a chance to put a head on the state and somebody can hand them a knife, they will, bro. They will. And so I was waiting, but that's why I kind of told you guys last week that I had to recalibrate what I thought hell in a handbasket was to the people who are really in charge. Because whatever me and the other common fans think, I think it's totally different. But I'm just not sure, man. Because like I said, Harsin started 3-2 in his second year, and we were already digging into his personal life, which is the irony of it. You dig into his personal life to hire you freeze.
So my theory is that because Saban's not at Alabama, that there's a temptation to give him more time. That they feel like Alabama's more vulnerable without Saban. By the way, Ole Miss going powder white, which is what your boy predicted.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna keep enjoying the show.
All right, Grind. Thanks.
And if you can, just give your prediction on Oklahoma's schedule. What you guys think is going to happen for the rest of it? And I'll keep enjoying the show. I'll go.
Yeah,
all right.
You may pull it up.
I got it. Oh, are you kidding? O'Neal Steele, baby. Come on. All right, they're 3-1 at Auburn.
4-1.
Open date. Texas and Dallas.
4-2.
South Carolina at home.
5-2.
At Ole Miss.
5-3.
Maine at home.
6-3.
At Missouri. All right, you
6-4, but hesitating.
All right. Open date.
Yep.
Alabama at home.
6-5.
At LSU.
7-5.
Oh, okay. It'd be a little tense.
That LSU game will have some puckered in that scenario.
It'd be a little tense. Hey, who do we have, caller?
This is Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Calling from College Station, Texas.
Hold on, Siri's trying to get involved. Just let Siri let her get her out of her system.
There you go. All right, she ain't saying nothing now.
Yeah, she's gone now.
All right. Well, I'm just curious. So me and a buddy of mine, I'm an Ole Miss guy. We're coming in from Texas tomorrow, and I've been noticing the storms kind of going to the north of there. Have y'all heard anything about any potential bad weather Saturday morning, or is it supposed to be looking good, or what?
The last I saw about an hour ago was they expected 90% chance of rain all day tomorrow, pretty heavy rain in Oxford, but that it was going to be out of here Saturday morning.
Okay, that's cool. Good deal.
Now, if it's pouring down rain at 1:00 in the afternoon, do not blame me. I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just telling you what weather.com said.
They appear to think game time is going to be all right on Saturday.
Yeah. Grove might be kind of wet.
Oh, well. All right, guys. I appreciate it, man.
Yep, thank you.
Go Rebels. We'll see y'all later. Appreciate it.
Rebels and Horns tied 0-0 at the half in soccer. Probably Texas's first ever visit to Oxford for a soccer match.
I would think.
The goalie from Ole Miss has 4 saves in the first half.
Oh.
Yeah, she's really good.
That's a penalty. Yep.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a good call.
What was the penalty?
She grabbed and held.
Oh.
You can't hold.
Is it like football where if you see some separation with the jersey?
A
Similar?
little bit. In that case, she sort of grabbed by the shoulder, and that's pretty obvious at that point.
So they
you're gonna get that
they
call.
get the ball from that spot.
Get a free kick from that spot, yes.
Right.
But it's not like a yellow card or anything.
Yeah. I got that. Just a foul.
Yeah, it's just a foul.
Or whatever you want to call it.
No, it's a foul.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she'll kick from there. She can kick it.
So Ole Miss wearing home
white.
whites, Texas wearing the burnt orange tops and bottoms.
Mm-hmm. Got to give Texas credit, man. The burnt orange works.
They don't vary much.
It just works. Dallas, by the way, going with all whites. The Giants going with the white pant instead
I like
of
the Giants uniform.
gray pant. Oh, this is a good uniform game. It always is.
Malik Neighbors. He's good.
Yep.
LSU misses him.
They do. I know this is sacrilegious, but I like this Cowboys outfit.
You like the white helmet with the blue star and the white with the shoulder things.
I do.
I'm good with it. So what's Ole Miss going to wear against Georgia? White, powder white?
That's probably good.
Because that's their other big home game now.
Probably a good guess. That,
white helmet
with the fancy striping. Yeah, that's probably
with
probably
powder
solid
jerseys and white pants.
Probably a solid guess.
Navy helmets, navy jersey, gray pants.
I would guess that's not it. I would think not. Knowing Lane. Nope. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, Neal, Trace, this is Rob. How you guys doing?
Hey, Rob. Good. How are you?
I'm good. Just want to get you guys big picture kind of perspective. This is a little historical question, but I've been following the SEC since early 2000s, mid 2000s, as the conference started to rise above the rest. And just want to get your perspective of kind of why that was. I'll give my thoughts. Late 90s, you had Tennessee, Florida in the East, who were the best. The other 4 teams were kind of mediocre. In the West, in the 90s, Bama was obviously up and down. The rest of them were kind of mediocre. And then suddenly, mid 2000s, they started to ascend. And obviously, you've got coaches like Saban coming in, Urban Meyer, and then kind of the rest took off. But just want to get you guys' perspective, having covered the league so much.
I mean, is it? What's your take? Parity? I mean, like, what would be the main reason for that?
For me, I'm thinking, and this is just a hunch, but more national recruiting basis, maybe.
Okay.
I know certainly, and I've always thought, and maybe Neal, you'll have some perspective, that LSU was kind of a sleeping giant in the 90s, 2000s. Tons of talent in that state, right?
Tons of talent in that state. They can recruit Texas pretty well because they have a huge base in like Houston. They have a big base in Dallas. It's a popular brand. Kids like it. They can recruit kids out of Georgia, Florida. Yeah, I mean LSU. LSU's a top. In any way you measure it, LSU's a top 10 job.
So from your perspective in the 90s, were programs like Georgia, LSU, even Auburn, well, Auburn was pretty good in the 90s, but to a degree, were they just down because of the coaching they had? And
I honestly don't remember. I mean,
it's so different.
It's
in every way.
Yeah. I mean, you have to back then everything was evaluation based. As it is today, but even more so then. And then it was development based, and it was stability based, and it was how well you could organize cheating.
It's much more regional.
LSU went through the deal where the coach died in the plane crash, and that sort of set them back a little bit. You had Alabama that was having to replace Bear Bryant, who was obviously a legend. Auburn was really good. Tennessee was pretty good. Everybody was good. So
LSU's the weird one.
Everybody can't win. Well, LSU's had down times. Jerry DiNardo didn't win at LSU. Curly Hallman didn't win at LSU. I mean, it's not a lock that Brian Kelly wins at LSU. Everybody can't win. Like you do the Oklahoma thing and you're like, oh, 6-6. Oh my God. Well, someone's got to go 6-6, man.
Some of this was culture based too, and you just didn't realize it and handle it the same way back then. You don't realize what you were screwing up. I mean, things evolve for a reason. Technology, roster building. It's all improved on how to go about it for the most part. Now, not everybody succeeds. Ask A&M and plenty of other people. But I think you at least have better ideas of the concept versus then. And again, I think regionality mattered. I mean, you were trying to evaluate and figure this thing out in a smaller pool, even though some were national programs.
LSU was a mess until Chris Landry hired Nick.
Touche. It's a magenta hire.
Do you feel like with some of the success that even, I guess, not smaller, but, teams that weren't national powers in the 80s, 90s, teams like Ole Miss, Mississippi State, once they got success, they just feel the need to keep it going. And they've given an influx of money, whether it's facilities, things like that. Obviously, the conference has helped that, but.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ole Miss. I mean, they were able to grab in a recruiting class, but you're almost kind of doing it in cycles, which makes it very hard to consistently win. You had to maximize the most out of this one to try to build up in class to do this and then that. And
I mean, look at Ole Miss in the mid-'90s when Peyton Manning came out of high school. The program was in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
It was. They weren't even committed to it. They weren't serious. I mean, Peyton Manning didn't go to Ole Miss for two reasons. One, the NCAA stuff was going down, and then two, they weren't serious. They just literally hired a veer option quarterback, offensive coordinator when Peyton was a senior in high school. It's insulting how stupid that was.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Larry Keck.
There you go. Look.
I remember.
Look at you.
Yeah. I saw Peyton Manning play in high school.
It was good.
He was very good. Go figure. That was a mistake. I mean, that's where you should have called. Ole Miss should have called and said, who do you want? And then hired him.
Yeah, no, it's just interesting too because they've obviously, the influx of obviously getting two powers like OU and Texas, and obviously A&M and Missouri had their successes in the SEC to a degree, but it just feels like there's more. And obviously the demise of the Pac-12, it just feels like in this day and age, as far as I've just followed the sport, there's just been much more emphasis on the programs and the, putting in money, and while other conferences have just kind of seemed to not keep up, right? And so I don't know how it was in the 90s or 2000s, but it just seems they've had more of a care, right, to invest.
Yeah. Dylan is asking in the thread if I can talk about Columbia. I haven't been, except for I've been to an NCAA tournament there a few years ago, but I haven't been for a football game since 2008. I'm not an expert on that. I remember there was, in downtown, there were a handful of really cool bars and restaurants, but I'm sure they'll be absolutely jam-packed the night before a game. But I can't really help you there. I'll do this though. I will reach out to a couple of South Carolina people that I trust and get some. I'll get some travel tips and try to post them this week.
Well, cool guys. I appreciate the time. I'll drop a super chat and love the content.
Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
See you guys.
How do you think Mike Cavan would have done? Maybe would have gotten hired later.
Poorly.
I don't think that would have worked.
I think that was going to be a disaster. Where Eli Manning goes to Texas or Virginia.
Uh-huh.
Oof.
Not good.
That was going to get rough.
Not ideal.
Your boy John Schaefer was going to be rough.
Mike Cavan. He's going 6-5 at SMU, baby.
Hey, it was about done too. It was about done. When was Ole Miss in the NCAA tournament? Was it 2017, 2018, 2019? It was
Kermit's first year, so it was 2018.
Okay.
I think.
That was the last time I was there.
I think that's right.
And I like Columbia. It was fun. I had a good time. was glad. Although when they lost, I was on the road within 2 hours.
Out.
I was out. I was ready to roll.
2019.
2019.
So 2018, 2019 season.
Okay. March of 2019 was the last time I was there.
NCAA tournament appearances 81, 97, 98, 99, 2001, 2, 13, 15, 19.
So I've been on the beat for 17 seasons, and I've covered how many NCAA tournament games?
Games?
How many?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 NCAA tournament games. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? That's a statement.
Yeah, Wisconsin, LaSalle, BYU, Xavier, Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that.
Conference champions in 28, 81, 13. 2018 was hell.
Wow. That's something.
I think they're honoring the Wetlick era for throwback this year.
Is that right?
Did I dream that?
That'd be a weird thing to dream. That'd be every bit as weird as dreaming about Daniel
That's
Jones.
True. I think I'm right. Giants kicked it off. Look at the stripes on the side of the pants.
That's an excellent uniform. I mean, there are people at Ole Miss that will argue with you about the stripe, but that stripe's
good.
That would be perfect.
Stripe's good.
They could mix that in.
I mean, Daniel Jones cooking the last 2 games.
That is a very good looking uniform.
You like the NY more than the Giants spelled out across the helmet
I like
in the
both.
old days?
I like both.
Okay.
Yeah, I could go either way.
Okay.
But in terms of just color,
it's good.
Scheme, this is a phenomenal uniform game.
Okay.
I've got Giants. Campbell picked the Giants on this. Siski went with the Cowboys. So this is a 2-unit game right here. A lot of pressure.
Ooh. Better lock in.
Yeah, well, as soon as Campbell picked it, I was like, oh, damn it. I was planning to go to sleep tonight. I probably still will. God, you get Saquon Barkley's number I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to replace him and get his number.
I mean, DeBoer's in Saban's office. Then remodeled that bitch.
They did, didn't they?
Oh, completely. Modernized it. Saban looked like a 1,000-piece puzzle from like 1998. You know, look what the cover looks like with all those browns and golds and greens.
Yeah.
Now we got like clean lines and whites and grays and
better win.
Got stuff lit up with lights in the trophy case.
You better win. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, Neal, this is Trey in Santa Rosa Beach.
Hey, Trey, what's up, man?
Storm here.
What's the weather like there?
It's been a fake out. There's barely any rain, so we're good over here.
Okay.
They've been taking care of us, but appreciate all the content. Just was wondering if there's any inside podcasting on how the Mississippi State hire came to be. Very excited to see you guys expanding still.
Yeah, I'll be totally transparent about it. We've had over the years multiple interested advertisers who would have kind of been like anchor advertisers for us, who wanted to advertise with us, went way down the road with it. And every time we'd get to the finish line and there would be somebody higher up in the organization that would say, well, if we advertise on an Ole Miss podcast, we've got to advertise on a Mississippi State podcast, or we're going to lose customers. Now, is that true? I don't know, right? I got posted on the message board. I don't think like that. If I like a beer or a restaurant, I don't care who runs it necessarily. I just like it, right? But apparently that's a real thing. So, we would get that, and they would say, "Is there a Mississippi State podcast?" And we're like, "Well, we don't. I mean, we're not affiliated with one." And this is over the course. I mean, to be totally honest, over the course of the last year or so, we've gained a lot of momentum with a lot of our sites. Our numbers are way up. A lot of that obviously is due to Ole Miss winning. A lot of that is due to our consistency. A lot of that is due to McCready and Siski, especially Tyler, the effort that he's put into that show and the way it's grown. and we just have momentum. And so I knew that and Chase knew, we talked about it, wasn't just a me decision. We both made the decision that if we added that to our inventory at some way, somehow, that would solve a lot of our problems. It would check a box that some potential advertisers wanted checked. So the opportunity came around. It cost us nothing. They're nice guys. I like them a lot. I've had conversations. I think they're good people. I'll be honest. I think the fact that Mississippi State is as down as they are right now makes the timing even more perfect. And already in 24 hours, the decision from a business standpoint has been validated. I mean, I've had 3 probable advertisers reach out pretty excited about the fact that they can go to like a client and go, okay, see, we've got this now. And so that's really it. And all that it's going to do is it's just going to pop up on the podcast feed.
I think that the fake outrage is obviously everybody thinks, if you own a business, then you know that you guys have to, do what's best for the business, and nobody cares, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really cares. So it's not a huge. I think it's a really good idea. I also had a question. Are you surprised with how Tyler has really put a ton of effort into y'all's show, the live and TikTok and everything else?
I'm not surprised. He has an incredible work ethic. He's a phenomenal guy. He's very competitive, like you expect most people from that kind of background to be. He's very coachable. He wants to get better. He wants to learn.
His transition has been really phenomenal.
But he's just a really
leaning into it pretty good.
Yeah, he's just a really talented guy. So no, I'm not surprised that it's gone as well as it's gone. But you're right, it's gone incredibly well, and he's really good. He has this bubbly personality, and he loves ball. I mean, he genuinely loves ball, and so but he likes getting better at this, and he likes the feedback with people and all of those things. So I mean, he's been awesome. And, and this is an example of something that we did when he was just doing that quick U show by himself. We wanted to add it to our platform badly. And that was before we were even really thinking about doing a show together. I wanted to make sure I got that show on our platform where if we decided to do something down the road, we'd have our foot in the door. And that's precisely what happened.
Well, yeah. I think y'all are both really good. I got one last one for Chase. I'll let you guys go.
Yep.
Chase, is there any way we could see a regular weekly show with you and a potential co-host?
Do you have a co-host in mind, or are you just saying in general?
I don't have a co-host in mind. I'm just wondering if. That one's worked out super well.
You got to have the exact right fit. You can't create that out of nowhere. There are probably some that could work to some degree. I've thought about some different things, but at the moment, I do not know who that person would be to be the right yin and yang and to make that make sense. And look, we don't mind failing, don't mind trying things, don't mind quitting things. I think that's been one of the strengths, because most people are scared to do that. But at the same time, you've got to know there's an exact reason for that and know what you're bringing that doesn't already exist. And I'm spending a lot of time, in a way that I think it's going to pay off. I'm spending a lot of time on this Bourbon podcast right now, between some potential sponsorships, between some people, some different things. I do think that's one that has got a chance to at least do some things that I was hoping it would do. So that's kind of where my focus is at the moment.
Yeah, I was thinking the Bourbon podcast has been really good. I feel like the Neal and McCready and Siskey, that one actually works out really well because it's a little bit different from the Ole Miss stuff that we're used to seeing. And then obviously you getting into your own the Bourbon stuff is actually really interesting because it's something that you're actually interested in.
There's one weekly thing that may be coming that I'm working on, but as far as multiple times a week, the way that Neal and Tyler have grown that, no, I don't have something in mind for that level of movement right now.
Understood. Well, I appreciate everything you guys do, and I love watching everything. So
yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you. You're starting to think about that 15-mile run, aren't you?
I mean, I'm constantly thinking about that 15-mile run, Neal, all week.
Is it just starting it? Once you start it, you're okay? Or is the boredom?
I'll run when it's still dark outside, and I'll be honest, it's really peaceful.
Yeah.
There's something to not only being done so early, but running as the sun comes up, where you start when it's dark and end when it's daylight.
Yeah.
There's something circadian to that's really uplifting.
Yeah.
And the fact that, so when we do the math, I will be done somewhere around 6 o'clock in the morning, probably. And
so you're getting up like 3:30?
Yeah. And I will have run, my watch will say that I'm at 30,000 steps at 6 a.m., which is a weird thing, too, when you look at your watch.
Wow.
What?
I'm just thinking of getting up at 3 in the morning to run 15 miles. I mean, I've done the run before, but I never did it like that.
It's quiet. It's kind of peaceful.
Yeah.
I sort of like it. Yeah.
Jason, you.
I mean, it would get hits.
We'd get numbers. I mean, I could sell it. I could. Boy.
I've played very little golf at all, Mark. I mean, I haven't stopped. I mean, I still consider myself a golfer, but I have played fewer than 5 rounds of golf this year. I played no golf to speak of. I've played in 2 scrambles, and I've played 1 match play match. And maybe one other time. That's been it. I mean, to the point that I've even contemplated, I can't Saturday because Ole Miss has a home game at 11 o'clock, but I've got to do some cross training. I even thought about doing cardio tennis Saturday just to swap it up and do that for a little while instead. And I haven't picked up a tennis racket in probably a decade, but I did contemplate that earlier in the week. So, yeah, I mean, I would like to get back into it. It just doesn't fit the year. It's just stage of life stuff. Giants 3-0 here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm up 8 right now in this game.
There you go.
Yeah, you see?
Rolling.
What could possibly go wrong?
It's like the miracle on ice. He's just got to stall it for another 52 game minutes.
I mean, just get stops, from here on out. You're good. No explosives, get stops. Yeah, y'all could talk the 2017 Cal game some more.
Longo screwing it up. Damn it.
He would probably have a point on that.
He would.
All right, we'll wrap it up so he can start getting his
I mean, in all seriousness, I need to be in bed in 2 hours.
I know. It's pre-run sleep. So appreciate everybody being with us. Thanks to all the people who called. Again, tons of content up on the site. We'll have more tomorrow, more content, I should say, at rebelgrove.com. And then we'll have the post-game show. Ole Miss and Kentucky, 11 a.m. Vaught Hemingway. It's on ABC. The post-game show at MPW Digital. Chase will be hosting that. You got Tyler and Jeffrey, and I'll join as soon as I get back up into the press box, that kind of thing. So we'll be with you on Saturday, and then back again next week for another week of podcast here at MPW Digital. Again, thanks to Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating for sponsoring this show each and every Thursday night, and we will talk to you guys again on Saturday. Take care.